And then once that's live, we'll jump into things. Does LangChain not work anymore? I don't know what that means, Kenny. Yeah, we'll dig into that in a sec. Let me just do the announcement thing, like, you know, for the VOD, so people know what I'm talking about here on stream today. I'm back. Hey, yeah, I'm back from my conference where I did the MC thing at JS Nation, and I did some like interview stuff at React Summit. It was super fun. I'm just crossing my fingers that I did all right, and they'll invite me back. And it was just a blast. I'm gonna need to get my passport so I can start doing the Amsterdam one too. That'll be good. So yeah, I need to schedule that ASAP. Our plan for today, though, is the blog post we were working on before I left. That's going to go onto the back burner. I can work on that off stream. Like, I'm not worried about showing that whole process. That's kind of boring, right? So instead, what I really want to focus on is, for work, we're trying to figure out who do we want to talk to that is relevant and understands, like, agentic workflows and blah, blah, like, you know, AI bullshit, because, yeah, you know, business gonna business. But I need to really dig into how I can eliminate some of the false positives or just somewhat irrelevant messages and events, or at least like give a score that you can use and then maybe allow you to like sort and filter based on that score. I don't know. Today's gonna be a lot of discovery around how could we solve the false positive problem better, right? Like when you get 1,000 events over the course of a week, which I did for the work stuff, what does it look like to make that process better, right? Because does it even make your job easier if you got to go through 1,000 events? Like, no, it's not actually solving a pain point because you could just scroll social media to do that stuff. So we're going to figure out how we can alleviate a bit of pain. That's my goal. So yeah, should be fun. That's what we're working on. Let me switch to the right screen. Okay, cool. Switching this. Sorry for the burp. Let me catch up on chat. And iReal. Wait, what about your home country? Are you catching up on the Finland stuff that you saw in chat? Does LangChain... Oh, Amsterdam. That's when you said that. Yeah, Amsterdam. Yeah, I'd love to go hang out and check out Amsterdam, especially if they're covering the flight. Who knows? Or as long as someone else is paying for the flight. But yeah, LangChain? I don't know. Is that the one that DataStax made? Or is that LangFlow? I always mix those two up. I love that transition. Okay. Yeah, Bert, if you're out there, that's the thing I was talking about. So the sound effect and the face that it shows are both randomized because you can just do HTML stuff in your OBS. So yeah, it gets really fun. Let me get another album going. Let's start with something crunchy. Yeah, I like that transition. Oh, this is going to be a bit loud. Oh, man, I bet the music was a little loud until just now. At least that wasn't too loud of an album. All right. And yes, just got done traveling, so probably need way too much vitamin C. I probably need a fresh glass here at some point, too. Yeah, this one's not bad. Yeah, no worries, Caleb. Yeah, we'll chat more. Yeah, enjoy the conference, dude. Yeah, that sounds fun. Let me know about some of the highlights when you get back. All right, and you said it was Tiny Ruby. Affordable one-day single-track Ruby conference in Helsinki, Finland. Cool. Yeah, like incredibly fair price. Yes, anytime I did Ruby dev, I was doing it inside of a Docker container. Actually, no, I've done a little bit with RVM before, just to change the versions. Ooh, nice. Get Butler's hosting the party. Hell yeah. I know where Caleb will be tomorrow night. Yeah, Ruby's good. All right, let me get this chat into the right place. That's interesting. Yeah, all right. So here's the thing I wanted to look up. How does it even work? Like LLM in the browser, right? Like Wasm. Web LLM. Ooh, okay. All right. Transformers JS. Yep, that's another one. All right. So let's at least go look at it. This does not look terribly active. Oh, this one seems interesting from Intel. So when it says works with Llama 3, Phi 3, Gemma, Mistral, whatever, what does that mean? Try out Web LLM chat. All right, we see some fairly large payloads come through. And what's up, Jarrell? How you doing? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Oh, that isn't it. Um, I messed up by ordering it. Yeah, I mean, I'm not seeing it yet. So, I mean, iReal. Do you remember when I made the whisper thing? Hey, what's up, King? How you doing? So, for anyone unaware, I've done some like AI in the browser stuff in the past. The tool was Orderly, and the idea being, right? Like, let's go to settings. Here, you can pick your model, right? So, tiny, base, quantized models, right? And we just go up to small. We don't do like the huge ones. But then this is using Whisper, right? And it's going to have to download it. So we click that. And like I orchestrate that loading process for a better experience. I assume we'd have to do the exact same thing for any other LLM in the browser too, right? And I would guess that Whisper is probably smaller than some of these others. But again, this is just full on discovery. I don't know yet. We're kind of looking at these to figure it out. So let's just say we do that. Sure. All right, so we close out of this. How much would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck? Oh my god! If I could say. Okay, so this is where it's fetching the params, and this is the download. Okay, so they fetch on the fly. Sure. Interesting. So I would say it's totally doable. So damn, 4 gigs. That was a few gigaroonies, yeah. I didn't necessarily pick the smallest model. Sorry for the burp. Dude, you're on the free tier. You don't gotta, like, overcharge me on output tokens. Like, take it easy. Take it easy, OpenAI. Like, what? I know, right, dude? What the hell? Oh, man. All right. Yeah, I downloaded 4 gigs of like the model params. Now I'm downloading 4 gigs of text. All your tokens are belong to us. Wait, wait, wait. You know, Chrome's chewing up some stuff. Chrome's chewing up 5 gigs of RAM. Actually, we got a few Chrome processes chewing up a bunch of gigs of RAM. We might want to take a look at that. It's still going. How is it still going? Okay. So while this is going, give me a second. I'm going to rinse out my glass. Holy shit, dude. What? What? It, dude, I might need to go use the restroom here in a second, too. Wait. Wait. It just keeps saying, wait. Here's the thing, it's giving us the entire thinking process. Wait. Wait. Dude, what the hell? Wait. Wait. Yeah, 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 yeah. Wait. Yeah, wait. Yeah. Ending. Wait. I want to keep seeing this. I got time. You know, I'm pouring a beverage now. It goes on and on, my friend. Yeah, exactly, dude. All right, wait, dude. Who here's old enough to remember the Adam Sandler album? They're all gonna laugh at you. First track, there's the Friends that okay, it looks like it finished. There's the Friends, they end up joining a cult, and it's like 3 weeks later. That's what I was thinking there. I had to preface it because how many people here are actually old enough to even remember Adam Sandler made comedy albums? Now do a word count. Let's do it. Sure, why not? Ha ha! Chuck, 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 chuck. What? What? This is what we're basically burning the Amazon for? Of that command? Yeah, no worries. Unplug. You got it. It's a good album. Yeah, like random Cyrillic. I think we saw some kind of like Southeast Asian, right? I don't know. I hold on. If I can see it, I might have a little bit more of a chance. It didn't look Korean to me. Was it Chinese? Are you sure? That does look Chinese to me. It doesn't look Korean for sure. Korean, I think, tends to have more like rounded bits, or this is like more angular and straight. But again, I'm not an expert. I don't know. When deep thinking is enabled across all LLMs, I did not know that. All right, so hold on. Copy all. Hold on, we skipped this song. Only 2,400 words. Based on the prompt, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? So it's like me back in college when you're told that, write a 2,000 word essay. All right, here we go. Yeah, it seems like deep thinking was heavily enabled. And like it seems like it's just like enunciating its process. Wait, does it? Woodchucks, they're those tiny creatures with big tails, I think. Maybe found in the UK or something? I don't think woodchucks. Oh, a woodchuck is a groundhog? Yeah. So it was thinking of beavers. It wasn't even right. It wasn't even close. Nice marmot, man. I thought it was a horse. Damn, that's a deep reference. Anyone here ever watch After Lame, the snowboard video? They're in Alaska. They're driving by. They see a moose, and God, I'm forgetting this. Bobby Meeks. He's like, I thought it was a horse. Man, that's funny. I guess here's another thing. I never realized woodchucks and groundhogs are the same thing. So at least we learned something from this process. All right, and then one more thing I want to do. How many times did it say wait? Woodchuck was a name for a woodpecker? No, yeah, no. Woodchuck I knew was at least like a rodent kind of animal. So here's what I want to know. How many times did it say wait? 73 times. Wait. Wait. All right. Wait. All right. Wait. Oh, yeah. Cough. Like, what? You're an LLM. You don't need to cough. So that's fun. Oh, I love how this site gives us some of this insight. The reading level is at college student. Is it? Yanni, that's an incredibly weird question to ask someone. Reading time, 8 minutes. Speaking time, 13 minutes. Yeah, I just don't know what relevance it has, Yanni. That's weird. Like, do you normally just start conversations with people like that? Not even a hello? If you do, you should stop. I just really wonder where the disconnect is. Like, do you really talk to people like that in real life? If the answer is no, why would you do it online? But anyway, back to laughing at AI. I'm not anti AI, but it is really funny sometimes. Yeah, chuck, 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 chuck. So wait, you said it was right above. Right above cough? I missed the cough one. Yeah, I lost it. Whatever. Damn, what is that? That's not even a proper period. Man, this output is mind blowing. Oh, you're right. Yeah, I had scrolled to here. Wait, Chuck Lumber? I wonder if Chuck Lumber is like some really good like geo optimization, right? Like, you've heard of SEO, there's geo, right? GEO, like generative engine optimization. Did someone just nail it with their like Chuck Lumber ads and they just really squeezed it into DeepSeek? All right. So here's my biggest thing. I don't need the most complicated model, right? What I would love is if these models could be sorted by size in some way. That would be cool. And King Goes Gaming. Shakespeare invented most modern swear words, or at least the origin. I mean, he invented a lot of words, like the word elbow. Yeah, dude. Like, yeah, he invented a bunch of words. All right, so we're going to try and go with the smallest one we can. When we see the name of this, do we think like the number after the Q is the amount of quantization, which would mean smaller model but maybe more CPU cycles? Or is that the F? Oh yeah, sorry, Bedro. Yeah, King is over in the YouTube chat. I need a better way of shouting that out, or I could just say words. That's my fault. I'm gonna have to change up my Twitch chat eventually. I think, not Twitch chat, but like my chat overlay, so that the YouTube stuff comes through too. I just didn't want to start working on that project yet. So hold on. Do we want to go Quen or Mistral? Bedro, you want to write a proper multi-platform chat overlay. I will say that is something StreamYard does really well. Like, StreamYard nails it. I think Restream also has a good multi-platform chat. But then I'd lose all my branding. I do wonder if maybe there's some like API endpoint I could listen to plug it in. Yeah, I don't know. Something to think about. Sequen is better for multilingual content, whereas Mistral would be a better all-arounder for like summarization. The way I want to use it, maybe like I didn't explain the problem that I want to solve. So if we go in here and we're looking at it, and we look at Elixir, which could be a good example, and hold on, wait. This Elixir doesn't have the blue sky on it. Shit. All right, so we'll add Blue Sky to the Elixir output. King Goes Gaming. Yes, I understand. I totally could do that. I 100% understand that. But gluing those together is a hassle. And no matter what, the chat overlay that I do have is something I built that is a service called Stream Parrot that anybody can sign up for and use. And that's how I get the branding and the replacement of words. And, you know, it's why when I do a smiley face like that, it's my smiling face, even though it's just the colon parenthesis, right? By doing that, like, the ability to replace that text, it just makes my chat more fun. So yeah, the problem though is that Stream Parrot's source code is gone. I'd have to completely rebuild it, which we could do. It's not that complicated. It's just, this is something I and like Ping, you know, like Theo and Mark, realized pretty quickly. Streamers are a terrible target market. They don't want to pay for shit. Either they're not making enough money to justify paying for a service, or they're making so much money that they don't want to change things because they don't want to like mess up the secret sauce that got them famous. So at some point, like, yeah, streamers are just a terrible target market. Like, even the total addressable market is pretty damn small, right? The TAM of it. When you consider, like, partners on Twitch, there's only, like, 15,000 of them. That's a shit target market. And partners are at least the only ones big enough to justify paying for a service. Right? Making money off of affiliates and people who aren't affiliated yet, that is a terrible target market. And maybe partners has gone up to 20K. Maybe it's even more than that, but those numbers are shit as far as building a business around it. Now, similarly, right, you might say the same thing about like Rock's Codes and how he's doing this like podcast platform, but people pay for podcasting platforms. Right? That is like an already established business that people are willing to pay for. Nobody's willing to pay for a chat overlay. You know, you could be the first to establish that market, but you're still doing it out of 15,000 people. That is not a big enough pie to make a dent to become profitable. And many of the big streamers have already built custom software. Or they're like the Primogen and they just switch over to a scene or a screen, or they just switch the browser and it shows the chat on screen because fuck it. So they'll just sit in YouTube Studio and the Twitch dashboard. You know, like, again, it's a shit target market. So it's just, I can't justify putting any time into Stream Parrot until I have other profitable projects. Right? I want to make enough money off of a side project where I don't need to have a job. Not that I would quit my job if I became profitable, but I wouldn't need to have the job anymore. And that is such a freeing feeling that, yes, I want to make some project that makes me money so that I don't have to worry about making money in another way. Okay, so I don't know. I can show this. Yeah, I can do this. Give me a second. Let me double check something here. Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, I remember when Mike did that. Dude, he's the man. He's one of the people that I've never met in person that I really need to make sure we make it to the same conference at some point so I can meet Mike in person. He's a really good dude. I met a bunch in person, right? Bedro, bunch of people. Super cool. But man, I want to meet y'all in person. I think it'd be fun. But yeah, so let's just do this. Because I want to show an example. And I think this example will be good. Yeah, he was hyping up Messijo, actually, which is cool. So yeah, we go to the dashboard. I'm looking at Get Kraken stuff, which is perfect. What we can see is that for some of these, we have thousands of messages that we'd have to look at, right? Like merge conflict. And, oh, this isn't even like the one that let me do another. Right? So I've got agent and flow, Claude and code, agentic AI, even though the word agent would hit that same word. Agent and Git. And the goal is, well, yeah, we want to see what people are talking about with all this stuff. So, yeah, like looking at agentic AI, are all of these relevant? OpenAI and Stripe co-developed something called the Agentic Commerce Protocol. I think there's like 3, maybe 4 ACPs now. Come on, guys. What I'm wondering is, are they doing it on purpose now just to mess up other people's SEO? Is that a thing? Are they like weaponizing SEO at that point? Like, yeah, we know someone else created like, the agent client protocol. But we're OpenAI and we don't like it Anthropic. So let's create our own ACP just to like poison the search results. Now that's like some tinfoil hat shit, but are we going to really think it's beyond them to be that much of a dick about it? No. Right? If any company's going to do something that mean, it's going to be OpenAI. I should probably stop talking shit. I did apply to a job. It's not like they're going to hire me. It's fine. All right, let me get more music on. And yeah, Later King over on YouTube. Yep, get some work. I make good background noise. Treat me like a podcast. Wink. Hold on. Why am I getting so many notifications? Okay, now we're good. No, there's Coca-Cola in it. Or with how heavy of a pour it was, yeah, there's Coca-Cola in it. Not bourbon in the Coca-Cola. No, I just polished off this bottle of Old Fitzgerald. They've got it at Costco. It's good. I don't always drink it neat. Like, I'll happily mix good bourbon with Coca-Cola. I don't give a shit. Like, whiskey snobs be damned. I just want to enjoy my beverage. Yeah, which one did you pour? Did you get the Buffalo Trace? Or did you also go back and get that Four Roses? Because Four Roses is actually my favorite. But Buffalo Trace is everywhere. And for some reason, I could never find any Four Roses when I was over in NYC. Like, not a single bar had it. But they all had Buffalo Trace. So whoever is the salesperson and distributor there, whoo, they are killing it. See, they didn't have Four Roses. What the fuck, dude? And wait, hold on, Bedro. What was? Take it easy. Oh, I get it, King Goes Gaming. Yeah, some heavy music when doing serious work. I get it, I get it. Treat me as the background noise? I mean, not when you're like doing sexy times with a partner or solo. Don't do that. That'd be weird. And if you do, I don't want to hear about it. I think I just made it weird. It could have been totally fine, right? I totally just ruined someone mid session. God, that meme where it's like I've seen it on Reddit a bunch in the past couple months. Like Dave Franco and his wife Allison Brie, right? They're like smiling at the camera, and then the caption is like, "What you doing if they come up to you and say, hey, we really like your vibe?" All right, I'm in. I don't have a partner right now, so it's okay. I wouldn't be cheating. Yeah, exactly. I'll put on my own VOD in that exact situation. All right. Anyway. So what I want to do is I want people to be able to query these events, right? Like, are all of these events valid? Actually, a lot of these are pretty solid, which is a little tricky. But some of these might not be that valid. They might not make any sense. Like, Mozilla announced its decision to make AI a bottom line strategy for its future. God damn it, Mozilla. Can the bubble just pop already? Please? Like, it has value. I'm not denying the value of it. But holy shit, man. Don't base your entire fucking business on a bubble. Is your memory that short? Well, obviously, because it's hard to get RAM these days. But it's. I'll be here all week. Oh, we're in an ad. Let's just chill. I don't want people to miss stuff. While we're waiting, let me just see. All right, we can add Quen and Mistral. I like the idea of Quen just because it's small. So let's just try this one. Sure. We'll call that good. New chat. Same question. Starting to fetch params. That was reasonable. Holy shit. That was great. That was fucking awesome, dude. All right. So just no more DeepSeek. It's that easy. Samsonite. I was way off. The fact that that ran in the browser, it downloaded within less than 500 megs. I'd love to see how they're doing the chunking. Uh. 302, that's a redirect, isn't it? 302 found. Why would you do a 302 found for a thing that's properly downloading? Huh. Like, I feel like that should be a, like, some kind of 200 response, like a 204 or something. Whenever you write code and forget syntax, you go back to your own code for reference. There's nothing wrong with that. Oh shit, how did I build out the way I was doing the interceptor logic for my, like, you know, HTTP, like, or API services in my app? Let me go look at an old project real quick. Yeah, I'll totally do that. Why waste time coming up with it fresh again from scratch? So no, nothing wrong with that, dude. Yeah, that's totally fine. Oh, I know I solved this problem before. Let me go find how I did it. Yeah, that's totally fine, dude. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Oh, and that's fine, Pedro. You're never going to escape imposter syndrome. That's okay. Don't feel bad about that ever, ever. Yeah, not a problem. I don't trust anyone that doesn't feel imposter syndrome in some way, right? You're not going to always feel imposter syndrome about the same shit, right? And we all experience hubris when we probably should experience imposter syndrome. That stuff's going to change where and when you do so. Absolutely. But the goal is that imposter syndrome, don't treat it like a deficiency. Treat it as motivation. Oh, you feel like an imposter? Put in some more work. Fuck it. It's easy. Imposter syndrome is your brain being like, I wish I knew more about this thing. That's okay. Every time you go to a conference to give a talk, nobody's expecting the person giving the talk to be the absolute expert about it, right? You're just giving people enough that they can go look it up themselves. They can go figure it out. Someone in the audience who is the expert, well, why aren't they giving the talk then? Because they're fucking lazy. So, boom. They probably would feel imposter syndrome about presenting in some way. Like, oh, I'm going to say too much or something. Which they might, but who cares? All right, so I do think Web LLM is what I want to do here, because I feel like there's a way to put this. There are going to be some runaway costs to doing this. The runaway costs could be the cost of hosting or hosting LLMs in some S3 bucket or something and paying the cost of downloading that shit, right, to your users. That is a runaway cost that could suck. But I feel like the runaway cost of hitting some third party LLM could be way worse, right? See prior art. Could you imagine the runaway cost of some shitty OpenAI model or Anthropic or whatever model that just burns your output tokens? That would add up way quicker than bandwidth cost. Because you're going to pay bandwidth cost anyway for some shit, right? So, in my opinion, I think the bandwidth cost of hosting these models is worth it. I think what we saw is that Hugging Face could be the host of that. I don't like the idea of 100% outsourcing the hosting of that to a third party. That just doesn't feel right to me. Right? Ethically, morally, and even just from like the perspective of stability, right? So I would host my own params or whatever as needed. That's fine. But I think we're on to something here. And I'm also thinking I could give talks about this. Right? Conference-driven development. I could give talks about Web LLM. How do you host it? What are your concerns? Blah, blah, blah. I think there's a lot of value to that. Yeah, conference-driven development. Absolutely, dude. I don't know if you know this. When I propose a talk for a conference, I don't always have the full talk ready and done. No, I do the proposal. If I get accepted, well, now I got to work on it. That's fine. That's okay. Do that. Yeah, I mean, just take it easy, Bedro. I don't know, man. Like, yes, we get a little crude, but I don't know, man. Just take it easy. Yeah, your reward for good work is more work. Absolutely. And I understand that, Bedro. I'm just saying, not every stream is that. You know, I would personally say in this stream, try and just level up the maturity just a little, please. We make jokes, and it's fine every once in a while, but if it's every other comment out of your mouth, it's too much. We good? Thank you. I'm noticing a pattern. Right? I'm not that stuffy. But there's a fine line. That's all. Thank you. All right, so exactly. I mean, the thing is, you never know where the line is until you find it. I think we found it, and I think we're good. Let me double check one thing. All right. So, sorry. Getting a bit late. Yeah, no worries, Bert. Thank you for hanging out. I'm glad you got to check out the stream. And yeah, I hope you like the vibe. And I'm looking forward to seeing what your take on streaming is too. So, see you soon. And Kenny, it's only 6:38 p.m. where you're at, so you're East Coast. But it feels like 8 p.m. because it's dark already. Yeah, totally, dude. You just had lunch. I mean, depending on where you live, yeah, that makes sense. And yeah, what's up, Liske? Been a little bit. You still doing the rally racing thing? No offense, that's like the thing I think of the most when I see your name. So, and I feel like it's been a little while, so I just don't have any other context. Didn't do that much this year, finishing up your first semester of law school. Oh, that sounds way more stressful. Wow. All right, so let's at least start looking at this. MLCAI made Web LLM. And this is just the inference engine, right? So that UI is a separate thing. Didn't do that much finishing up your first semester. No. So, Bedro, he was saying he didn't do that much rally driving. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, no, the law thing is huge, dude. Do you have like a specific kind of law you want to focus on? I'm really curious about that. And yeah, I had to make a choice between books and Miata tires. Yeah. Time, man. Whoever figures out how to make more of that, big wins, big business. All right, so we can use Web LLM as a base NPM package. Okay. What does MLC stand for? Maybe it's not important. I'm just curious. Machine learning compilation, maybe? Yeah, that's making sense. Yeah. Yeah, a machine learning compiler and high performance deployment engine for large language models. Yeah. Yeah, good job. Both of you. Good job, Pedro, as well. Yeah, I do think this would be kind of a cool talk. Yeah. All right, so if I build something cool, I can hype up some of my stuff. You know what? This is something that Rachel Lee Neighbors has been really like hyping up lately too, right? Like on device AI. Yeah, this is all right. All right, all right. So let's keep doing some discovery. I think this is probably what I'm gonna do. Use LM Studio. Yeah, LM Studio is great, but LM Studio is heavier. Right? It is a desktop app. You're not gonna do it in the web browser. It's all through LM Studio. You're not gonna do it directly on an iOS device, right? You can do it on a Mac OS device, but not an iOS device. So the idea of like truly on device inference is interesting, right? Yeah. No, I think LM Studio is awesome for sure. I had considered applying for their DevRel gig a while back. I don't know if they still have one. Actually, now I'm curious. Someone earlier mentioned they're trying to get into DevRel as well. Developer experience lead. And it does not look like it's a remote role. But damn. I just don't think I qualify as a lead. But also, like, I'm happy where I am. But, I mean, you gotta window shop, right? You gotta window shop a bit. Ah, thanks, Kenny. I appreciate that. Honestly, I've heard from several people that GitHub Desktop is getting pretty damn buggy these days. That's anecdotal evidence. I don't have any dog in that race. Like, honestly, if you're using GitHub Desktop, there's a higher chance that you'd be willing to try Gitkraken Desktop. So, like, honestly, just using any of them builds up the entire industry. If you're using Git Butler, there's a higher chance you might pay for Gitkraken as well, because they do different things. So, My boss might not look at it that way because he is like a core like product marketer kind of person, but I'm just more pragmatic about that. VS Code already has a pretty decent GUI integration. Yeah, it's called GitLens, and that's one of our products too. Now, the one built into VS Code is also good enough for some of that stuff, but I think what separates GitKraken are things that are more than just Git. That's my point. You mean VS GitHub Desktop? Visual Studio Code does have Git stuff built in. Yes. It doesn't go nearly as deep as GitLens, which is its own thing. You understand standardization in an org of your size? Maybe. There are massive companies that just let you work how you want to work. You meant VS Code versus GitHub Desktop. I still don't know what distinction you're trying to make, Pedro. Like I said at first, user experience wise, I have talked to people who say GitHub Desktop is getting really buggy. The Git thing in VS Code works pretty well. But GitLens in VS Code or GitKraken Desktop do things that VS Code and GitHub Desktop are not trying to do. And also, GitKraken stuff works on other platforms. GitHub Desktop is just GitHub. As far as I know. I haven't used it much. I probably should. Because not everyone is using VS Code. Like Pedro. There are all sorts of editors people use that don't necessarily ship with a robust Git integration. There is absolutely a reason GitHub Desktop exists. Okay. All right, so let's look at and hold on, what time is it? Okay, it's only 4. Yeah, we got time. There you go, Sternblade. Yeah, you like your IDE to just be an IDE. You like your Git tool to be a Git tool. Yeah, right? Like, Pedro, consider this argument. Why would you use a dedicated terminal when there's a terminal built into VS Code? Because that's the way I like to work. Deal with it. Sorry for the burp. And that's fine, but other people don't. Like, I don't know what to tell you. People do things differently than you. Welcome to the real world. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna leave that blog post for now. Let's consider, and oh man, did they fix this bug? Nope, not yet. We'll just do a new tab. There we go. All right, so it's going to be in the dashboard app. And man, yeah, we're going to have to... Man, a week of the memory leaks on the shader makes it look really weird. So let's refresh a few of these. I don't know if I actually need ngrok running right now. When you're using DBT, you use the terminal in VS Code, but that's about it. So, like, you'll do some stuff in the terminal in VS Code, but then you use, like, a dedicated terminal for other things? Sure. And what is DBT? Like, database tools? Is that, like, an extension? Or, I guess it's terminal, right? Yeah, I'm not familiar with DBT. Oh, it's obviously dialectical behavior therapy. No, I'm kidding. Data builder tool. It's a SQL modeling tool. Interesting. Okay, so it is. Is it this? No. Oh, it is DBT Labs. Okay, okay. Yeah, I've never heard of this before. Do you use the VS Code extension? Like, what is your editor? What is? Oh, yeah, you use VS Code. Yeah, yeah. So, have you tried their extension? Okay. And like, this is a lot of marketing speak. What does it do? Oh, hold on. Does it solve the same problem as MySQL Workbench? If so, I totally get it. Okay. Like, I'm currently using pgadmin, right? Is that what it's doing? Is it filling that void? It builds portable data models that can include macros and use logical instead of hard-coded references to other tables models. Okay. Yeah, I guess I don't know what any of that really means. I know those are words. I just don't know what they mean together. So business intelligence stuff is maybe a big part of it. Okay. And what's up, Zero? How you doing? Zero, you still playing Path of Exile 2? I think there's a new season coming out soon, right? Hold on. We're going to pivot real quick and I'm going to double check that, and then we're going to get right back to what we're doing with AI in the browser. Early December. Ooh, there we go. Been working. No, that's fine. It's okay. New season's coming out soon. I wonder what's going to be in the patch. All right, stay tuned. All right, so they haven't told us yet. Oh, they're going to do a live stream and release date and all that soon. Okay. Yeah, like they're doing 3-month long seasons. So, yep. So yeah, I'll probably wait a bit till I jump back in. Oh, and man, the person that mentioned that they saw a thing on Reddit that's going to compete with Messijo, are you still out there? God, who was that? That wasn't CD Villard. It was like right at the beginning of stream. Fuck. Ah, that's on me. I should have taken a note. I should have asked then. All right. Anyway, back to the task at hand. Exam season? No worries, Liske. Yeah, we'll see you again soon, right? Right. So yeah, no worries, man. See you soon. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you, Liske. Yeah, I can't believe how fast. this was, but I am also on a beefy Mac Mini. All right, so let's look at getting Web LLM into the app and let's try and start building with it. All right, we see 1B, right? Like we want some of the smaller models. I wish they showed you file size here. Yeah, Quen is probably the one. I don't think we need to go too big. I think the smaller models will be just fine. Guessing Quen 3 is still a bit too new? They do have Quen 3 0.6, so yeah, that's probably the one I want to go for. Definitely not DeepSeek. Well, what about Gemma? Yeah, I don't necessarily care about giving it images though. Right? Like we have a problem we need to solve, and that's about it. Okay, so Gemma is Google's. I didn't know that. All right. So this article doesn't even seem accurate because you can definitely do Quen 3 0.6. They're both up to 128,000 tokens. Gemma is more multilingual. That could be a thing for our users. Yeah, this is the Airwolf theme song by the artist Samo and Co. Yeah, they got a couple covers on this album. They got this one, and then they got another one called End of Line. It's that, like, the best song from, what is it, Tron Legacy or whatever? Like Tron 2. Ooh, Quen is Apache. Yeah, article probably is AI written, right? Hold on. I do need to use the restroom, and I need to restart the dryer. I almost forgot about that. So, BRB, give me a sec.
This is medieval time!
Okay, and I'm back. Hmm. Yeah, so Quen 3 is pretty state of the art, I think. So yeah, we're going to go Quen 3. So I guess here's my next thought. How do we bring in the Quen stuff? Quen 3 VL, their newest. It's good. Okay. All right, so let's do this. Let's pop open a code pen. Code pen. Man, code pen's old school. I was thinking of Code Sandbox, but this is fine. All right, so let's look at how this is actually working. Here's the HTML code. Sure. I don't actually care about the CSS. I'd say the HTML we're probably good with too. I think for the time being, we're probably not going to give the user any like choice in the models they use. All right, so they create the engine. They create a callback on it. Let me do this. Web LLM React. I do have both thumbs. Yeah, yeah, yeah. A couple people made those jokes. You made that one over on Blue Sky. And then Jason Torres made that same joke on Twitter. And then the former CTO of Truth Social, like, quote tweeted me with basically that joke. So I muted the fuck out of him. Like, dude, yeah, fuck that shit. Ugh. Yeah, dude. I considered blocking. I don't like it. Bummed me out to see the people I follow that follow him. But whatever. No politics. I'm saying it to myself. You guys didn't do it. I did it. No politics. But you're at least, like 2/3 of the people that made that joke were cool. I'll take it. That's pretty good odds. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I'm not seeing a library for this. Looks like there is a project called React LLM. It looks to me like that got hallucinated. Does that mean we have to code it ourselves? Yeah, yeah, which would honestly, I would be stoked if it doesn't exist. Because that'd be some really, really good content to propose for a talk. Like, hey, did you know you can do this? And I made a wrapper for you. That'd be cool. That'd be fucking awesome. It'd just be a hook, but yeah, it'd be a cool hook. Yeah, I'm not seeing this. Is this like Google recommending glue to keep your cheese on your pizza? No, no, looks like it's there. published 3 years ago. And it's LLMTS, not React LLM? Why the fuck are they using an iffy? This is garbage. All right, so what? All right, so it looks like I'm gonna have to write the hooks myself. Yeah, no, this is garbage. This is not it. All right. So there isn't a web LLM React wrapper, as far as I can tell. Let's go double check that. Maybe I missed something in web LLM itself, right? Like, do they got a packages folder? They don't. All right. Well, I think that's our next step. Yeah. Before we can even do the thing in my app, we need React hooks around this. Hold on, real quick. Can I just brag about one thing real quick? I'm going to do it anyway. So I, for people who weren't aware, I co-emceed JS Nation this year, which means, you know, I was standing up there helping introduce the conference, basically like reading off of the prompter and like engaging the chat and, hey, how's everyone doing today? Like that kind of BS. But they have a cool process that I quite like where you introduce the speaker, they do their talk, and then after the talk, you have a Q&A where people can like enter things into this like queue of questions they get asked to the speaker. And I got to introduce Ryan Carniato. And while we were waiting for some questions to roll in, I was just asking him about his stream and stuff because I know he streams. He responded to one of the questions I asked, like, and yeah, like the time, like I asked him what time he streams at, right? Like what day of the week, what time do you stream? He's like, you know, he said Fridays, I forget what time. And he's like, and yeah, like I'd love to raid you sometimes, but you know, you're typically not going when I'm finishing up. And I was like, wait a minute. Like in my head, I'm like freaking out. Like, hold on, Ryan Carniato knows I stream? What the fuck? So yeah. Fanboyed out in my head quite a bit. It's really cool. It was really cool. The night before the conference, I got to like basically just be a fly on the wall for a conversation with like Tanner Lindsley and Ryan Carniato. And man, the way these guys think about like server-side rendering and some of that stuff is just so deep. Like, yeah. Like, I consider server-side rendering to be an edge case to even need it, but the fact that they're just so, like involved and they care so much about it, it was really cool to see. So, yeah. Conferences, man. Y'all should be going to conferences. Oh, and holy shit. Yeah. Speaking of raids, thank you, Alan, for reminding me. I didn't even do this part. Yeah, like seriously, you should be going to conferences. There's something you can get out of just like the chats and the conversations, like, sure, the talks you can see online. The talks are not the most important part about a conference. The most important part about a conference is the hallway track where you're chatting with anyone you want. You can just walk up to people and talk. You can just do things, you know? Yep. And you realize they're just human beings. So yeah, like, there's a group of people crowded around Tanner Lindsley or Ryan Carniato talking tech, asking them questions. You can walk up and participate. Where else are you going to be able to do that? So yeah, it's really good. I highly recommend it. If your company has a budget for knowledge development, you know, usually like $1,000 a year or something like that, you should be spending that budget. Don't let them keep that money. Spend that budget on something. Go to a conference. Right? Those budgets, you know, you don't use it, you lose it. So yeah, spend that money on knowledge development. And some people don't realize that when your company offers a knowledge development budget, conferences are definitely part of what qualifies. It's not just like, oh, did you buy an Egghead course or a Udemy course or something? No, going to conferences is a big way to spend your budget if you want. And I think you're going to benefit more from that than you would from some bullshit Udemy course. Yes, I'm not a fan of Udemy. And hey, what's up, Ben? I had a whiskey earlier, actually. I mean, it was a little heavier because I finished up the bottle there. But I'm pacing myself because I do have an event to go to in like about an hour. Someone invited me to a DevRel meetup, like all DevRels. So I'm finally part of the group, which is cool. So I will be going to that here in a bit. But yeah, just whiskey, Coca-Cola, and then just pacing myself with some water. But yeah, how you doing, Ben? What you up to? Hold on. Damn it, I hit snooze, or I hit dismiss. I meant to hit snooze on the ad, but the ad's done already, so not a big deal. But yeah, for people just joining chat, we are working on figuring out how to use WebLLM within my application because I'm not made of money, and I'm bootstrapping the app we're building. So I'm figuring out how, at least to prove out the idea of what we're going to do, and like to get user feedback on if I'm even doing it in a way that they like, we're going to do web LLMs so that people are hosting LLMs in their own browser, in their own device, to filter and grade the messages, right, that they see. And the part that we're currently on is recognizing that WebLLM doesn't have like a React wrapper, which I actually think is good. Normally, I don't like building stuff, you know, like building libraries, because I want to build the apps instead. But you know what? I was lamenting somewhat recently that I rarely have good React-focused talks. Building a React hook or set of React hooks around WebLLM could be kind of a good talk. And I could even mention Messijo. So I think that's what we're going to do. So now we're just kind of like we just did the discovery, like seeing if there was a wrapper. Now that we realize there isn't, that's probably what we're going to pivot to and focus on. And we need to start looking at the actual API of WebLLM. Like, what wrappers do we care about? So we see this example code here in a code pen, and this is just vanilla. It's not React. But we're kind of seeing at least like a bit of like how the API would work, right? We'd instantiate the WebLLM MLC engine. I'd probably want to do that in some kind of like singleton fashion, and then have the hooks that we're exporting be exported from the same package so they got the same reference. And then from there, like what other hooks would we need? What other like methods would we expose, etc. Right? So there's going to be just a bit of theory crafting as we read through this stuff to see like what we can do, how we can do it, right? So this is like all of the web LLM logic. We're going to be hard coding the model we choose for our app at least, but the hook would probably be something that you want to do generically, right? But like instantiating the hook, well, yeah, how do we do this part? Right? We'd have to have some state that we're exposing out to the world and reporting in a clean way. So like this like progress value and maybe even report.text are going to be part of the things that we expose from the hook, right? What I'm thinking is for the hook that we create, we would allow people to pass in these callbacks, or at least like if they wanted to add functionality to the callbacks, we would have our callbacks that we're setting up, like doing these parts. But within like what we're sending here, we'd have our core callback logic, and then users could inject their own. This part. So where is this streaming generating function? Exactly, Alan. Yes, 100%. So, boom, right? And hey, what's up, Talented? It's going well. Yeah, so check this out, Alan. Yeah, this is Web LLM running in your browser. You can go to settings and pick any one of these models you care about. I'm going to be doing the Qwen 3 0.6b just because it's like 500 megs, but we selected some others like this DeepSeek Qwen 7b. I'm never going to use this ever again because you missed something hilarious earlier. How I benchmark models these days is I ask them how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood. And then DeepSeek went insane. Like, insane. At one point, it starts wondering, like, ooh, well, wait, what is a woodchuck? Where are they from? You know? Or are they from the UK? Are they the things with the crazy tails? No, that's a beaver, okay? Right? And then just like it kept going, dude. It did this for like 5 minutes, and by the end of it, in summary, how much wood chuck chuck? So chuck lumber, chuck chuck. But end chuck? All right, chuck. Okay, chuck. All right, chuck. All right, chuck it. So, chuck lumber, chuck it. All right, chuck lumber. Ha chuck. Dude, it's so fucking weird, dude. And then it's constantly like, wait, does a bunch of bullshit. Wait, does a bunch of bullshit. Wait. Like, dude. You're right. That would be fun to hear like 11 Labs or something say this out loud. Wait. All right. Wait. Wait, Chuck Lumber. Cough. Chuck. All right. Chuck. So, Chuck Lumber. Chuck. No end, Chuck. Like. So, Colorado. Chuck. Like, It's so bad, man. It even did Russian or Cyrillic or whatever. Yeah, major max headroom vibes. Chuck, 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 chuck. Like, yeah. Dude, yeah. We started stream like this earlier today at 3 p.m. It was hilarious. And then we picked a much smaller model, right? Just Quen 3. And this is what we got. A lot more reasonable. But we can even do structured output. So I'd actually turn it into JSON as the response with, you know, some extra prompting to make it smaller. But all of this running in the browser. Like if I go and pick a different model, right? Let's just say, let's do, I don't know, one of the smaller ones. Red Pajama Insight. I don't know what that means. Let's do small LM, right? We said smaller one, right? Small LM. Okay, cool. Let me get more music going here in a second. We'll create a new chat. I'm going to ask it the same thing, though. And then here in this chat, right, we see the small LM2. How much wood? Would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? And then you see that it starts to fetch the params, right? Because you're not going to ship this to the user on page load. So, yeah, 800 megs, whatever. I'll be spending money on the bandwidth for that shit. But I'm not going to be going broke from chuck, 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 and the output tokens. So we're good there. But yeah, so that wasn't so bad. We just saw, you know, 900 megs, whatever. Let me get more music going. But pretty awesome, right? Just running on my device. And Yanlin, you asked a good question. Sorry, I'm just now getting to it. This is a pretty beefy Mac Mini. Is it just Mini? Yeah, there it is. One thing to point out is WebLLM is not using that 16-core neural engine. It's just using the GPU via WebGPU. I'm not sure how much better that would have been, but it's still pretty cool. ChatGPT gives a straightforward answer. I would hope so. That was definitely one of the jokes I made earlier, right? Like, damn, what is this? OpenAI? They trying to just ream me on output tokens? What's the deal, man? But yeah, no, this is pretty straightforward too. Yeah, it is a very spicy Mac Mini. My last Mac Mini lasted me 10 years. I'm expecting to get another 10 years out of this one. So yes, I made sure to get the 10 gigabit Ethernet. Even though I don't even have internet at my house that would support that. Just wanted to make sure. Yeah, there's such an insane value. Like, just so good. You want to get an M4 Max Studio? Yeah, studios are good. I would say the minis are pretty amazing, though, dude. Like, do you truly need the Mac Studio? Would be my question to you. But again, if you're getting a device that you want to have last 10 years, well then, yeah. You know, aim for the bushes. Some people caught that reference. There wasn't even an awning in that direction. But yeah, Mac Mini, Mac Studio, incredible devices. I'm going to need to upgrade my like personal MacBook at some point. I'll probably just get an Air. Anyone here remember when I was like, oh, I'm going to send my mom a brand new MacBook Air? She's not even using it. She's not even using it. But whatever, you know. What's up, Amillenite? How you doing? Pretty sure I could just ask her for that. that MacBook and it'd be fine. But I'll use my credit card points again for my own. But yeah, so Web LLM, the part we're looking at is we're trying to internalize the APIs for Web LLM's engine so that we could build some wrappers for it. You got a ThinkPad workstation. Already 5 years old, still going strong. Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, no. Yeah, getting a good device that you like and solves your problems, that's huge, man. A Millenite, you're looking to get a gaming PC, but you have no idea what's a good config nowadays. Well, here's the way you kind of do that, right? Check out PC Part Picker and start like selecting stuff. And then when you want to check out CPU versus GPU performance, etc., there are CPU benchmark and I think video card benchmark. And then basically, like, click into high end and start comparing like prices to performance ratios. So with a 470 Super, you're doing pretty good. With a 5070 Ti, you're doing pretty good. Hell, even a 4080 Super is not bad. Yeah, so, yeah, let me give you these links. Don't use user benchmark? You mean this site here? Or is user benchmark different from CPU benchmark? Because as far as I know, like all these things are just submitted like through like people testing on their own devices. Oh, yeah, user benchmark. I have not. Well, maybe I've seen it before. But yeah, I always use the Passmark one. So they're both like tested on user devices, I think. But Passmark maybe is better. I don't know. This is just the one I always use. But then once you start like building that out, right? CPU and GPU are only a part of things. You need to make sure you get a motherboard that supports the CPU you pick. So if we're going to say choose a CPU and it's going to be, I don't know, the Ryzen 9, why not? Sure, right? Add it to the list. From there, you go to search a motherboard, add it to the list. It'll start letting you know if these things are compatible or not. Like if you pick one where it's incompatible, it'll actually warn you that, hey, that doesn't work. Right? Like here, it's like showing you only motherboards that support the socket type available for that CPU we picked, right? Instead, if you were to pick something like LGA, which is Intel. Oh, interesting. Ooh, interesting. So they don't even let you pick one that's incompatible. I feel like I've done it before where I picked one that was incompatible somehow, but it gives you a warning anyway. But yeah, so, right? You can manually allow it to happen. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how now, though. How now, brown cow? Oh, compatibility filter. There it is. Okay, yeah, yeah. Sorry. Why won't it read? So then, yeah, if we add that from selection, right? Compatibility, see details below. Uh, oh, that's weird. Maybe I just picked a bad motherboard. I don't know. But just showing you, PC part picker is the way to go. All right, so then, yeah, looking back at some of these APIs. So yeah, streaming generating. Where even is that? We see that in UI logic inside of the on message send function. Aha, okay. And they pass in this on finish generating hook. So a big part of what we're building here is we're going to want to make sure that this is a like an easy enough thing to do. Intel GPU? For gaming? Yeah, I would opt for something that is like fully broadly compatible. Like with an Intel GPU, you're not going to get some of the upscaling BS and some of all that. Like, I would not go Intel GPU myself. But maybe I just don't know. It depends on your budget. Okay. All right. So let's at least start scaffolding out like where this repo is going to live and all that. I don't think it's worth nesting it within the Messijo org. Right? It would just be a repo I publish, like a package I publish. But what I do think would be cool is to put it into a package that like if we put it into a repo that has packages for each framework, that would be cool, like a cool project, right? Yeah. All right, let's do it. So then it would be like web LLM FW, FWS for like frameworks. Web LLM wrapped. I kind of like that idea. Call it wrapped. And then it's just framework specific wrappers. Or the thing is, like, if I did it inside of the Messijo monorepo, then I could use the package like immediately. And I could just treat Messijo as the test bed. But if I build it as its own repo, that becomes trickier, and then I got to go through like publishing bullshit. I'd have to create like, demo sandboxes. In the WebLLM repo. So basically, this might not be the best example yet, right? But the idea being, right, agentic LLM or agentic AI or whatever, are these articles actually something I care about, right? Like, why am I listening for these keywords? So I want to like rank these things based on like relevance towards a goal. Now I'm not sure like 100% if I want this to be like hard coded to the keywords or just something that you query and take a step back from. So it's almost like keywords, or like, these keywords are just the identification part as the messages come in from the platforms. And maybe there's like a separate tab, right? Separate like category of lenses or something that allow you to create a prompt for each keyword, but you could have multiple prompts per keyword, right? And those lenses could then kind of like run, like it'd still be running here on your device because I don't want to pay for that. But I would allow you to, well, yeah, I don't know. Like data validation of user contributed info would be weird. I think in general, I just need to start building, and the exact implementation doesn't need to be set in stone. But I do want to run this on the client device rather than on my servers, right? That's the main crux of the issue there. At least to prove out the idea, to see if it works. I can opt in specific users and stuff via feature flags. But just to like make sure that I'm building something that actually solves a problem, And that problem being, yeah, maybe there's a bunch of stuff that's just not relevant. So yeah, I haven't fully like landed on the implementation yet, but the idea is to be able to filter or at least like rank or create like a relevance score or something for these, and then be able to sort by relevance, maybe. Mark as read the events that like automatically mark as read, the events that have nothing to do with it, some of that stuff. But I can't do any of it, right? I can't like prove out if it solves the problem right until I have this web LLM wrapper. And I also think the web LLM wrapper would be some good conference content, right? Like I could propose talks for that ASAP. I would like to maybe get this going before some of the CFPs finish up, right? Get like a proof of concept that I could write a talk about, and then we could really focus on it, right? So, yeah, that's my current thought. But yeah, here you go. Magenta Monday. Yeah, this is completely unrelated. Bloom scrolling, photography, flowers. Yeah, that is completely unrelated. Could I automatically mark that as read? Or hide it in some way or something? Without having to spend too much money on inference, right? Without having to have thousands of dollars in LLM bills at the end of the month. So that's my current focus. And my thought would then be, right, at least at like the paid tier or something, users could get this like in-browser LLM thing. Shit, we could even do it for the free tier users, but I'm just thinking I think that's a good like gate of hey, you want to use this like cool AI functionality, at least pay us at the bare minimum. And then, oh, do you want us to run this on our servers instead of in your browser? Well, then, yeah, that's like either an add-on or it's at like our tip-top payment tiers. And then that really does justify like the cost and the value better. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Just thinking out loud. So back to it. Yeah, we're going to create a whole new repo for it. I don't mind creating test beds for these things. That's a simple enough process. So yeah, web LLM wrappers. And I think what would be even cooler is eventually right? Like I'll write it open source. I'll make it MIT licensed, and then if they really like it, yeah, the canonical link could go to an MLCAI owned thing. I don't care. I just want this thing to exist. But yeah, like Web LLM as a base NPM package, that's not framework specific, and I do think we would end up needing framework specific hooks. At that point, save some people some effort. So that's the core idea at the moment. All right, so yeah, Web LLM wrappers. I will admit, I do not think I am like the right person to be a steward of this project into the future. I'm happy to build it, but I want to offload it to someone else almost as quick as possible. So yeah, eventually maybe like let MLCAI take it over, or I don't know, find some other maintainer that is a proper open source maintainer. Oh. And you know what? I already messed up. What I want to do is we're going to do a turbo repo project using PNPM. Are they doing web LLM as one word or two words? All right, so yeah, we cd into web LLM wrappers. It does mean, yeah, I think I named mine slightly wrong, and we can just rename it. Oh, it's not set URL. It's yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah, looks good. Let me get another album going. So let's start doing this. So, yeah. I'm gonna end up... I'm gonna delete all these. Oh, and you guys can't see those. Like, these packages don't make sense for this project. These apps don't make sense for this project. And what's up, Space Case? How you doing? So yeah, we're just doing a bunch of scaffolding at the moment. We're gonna install Astro. Have to go smoke a bowl with your new lightsaber? Without getting too crude, do you remember that Chappelle Show episode? I smell your lightsaber. Oh, okay, it's just a torch. Got it. Yeah, I've got some of those, like, refillable butane torches. They're great. I'm trying to remember, where the hell is mine? And yeah, I need to get more fluid to refill it. Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah, it does look like a lightsaber. You're not wrong. Yeah, Space Case, feel free to share that over in... Hey, what's up, Ninjatron? Talking about lightsabers? Do you remember that Chappelle Show episode? But yeah, feel free to share that over into the public, like in the Discord if you want. I think that's fine. But yeah, Ninjatron. I'm guessing you remember that Chappelle Show episode at least. If that's why you're questioning what you walked into. What's up, Diego? How you doing? Just shared it over to General. Yeah, it's a cool lighter, man. And you're not wrong. It does look like a lightsaber. All right, so sure, we'll do a Starlight project. I haven't used Starlight yet, so should be fun. Yeah, I was talking with Elion. Is it great? Yeah, I just haven't used it. Like, I was pointing out that I built up so many of the things I needed for dock sites that I hadn't, like, before Starlight even existed. You know? I guess Starlight ships with, hold on, let me show you this, just for everyone else out there. You probably remember this, but yeah. Like, you know, the getting started, right? Are you using Rust? Are you using Elixir, etc.? Right? Like this kind of functionality, the copy and all that BS. Like, I built all of this for my own shit before Starlight even existed. So, yeah, I thought that was funny. Right, like my own day-night toggle. I own, like, search BS. And McCory. Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, no worries, man. Shit. No, it's totally fine. Today's not going to be that long of a stream, so I apologize for that. You were, like, mid-docks, and then you moved to Starlight? Yeah. I don't know. If we go and look at my... actually, no. This one doesn't have that. I should go to Walter. And yes, we need to pivot back to Walter at some point. But not today. Oh, you got to go? Yeah, no worries. I just wanted to show off, like I built my own, like, stripe-style docks, which I'm quite proud of, right? So, like, the sticky part on the right, you know, like the API documentation, copying stuff. So, again, like, I had just built so much of the stuff that I wanted already that I just haven't had a good use case for Starlight. And my favorite part, all of this is programmatically driven from some MarkDoc files and from my OpenAPI specification. So yeah, just the fact that, like, all of this is done in a way to try and prevent it from going stale, I think is, I don't know, I'm really proud of it. I'm really proud of the engineering behind these docs. You're talking about Lightstar? I think they're separate things. Yeah, I think you're thinking of something else, Space Case. Right? Is this what you're talking about? It does look like it's a Python thing. But this is totally unrelated. Starlight's just a theme for Astro. Maybe, but still unrelated. Astro is the framework. Starlight's just a theme for Astro. Yeah, no worries. That's fine. Now I'm curious what the hell Starlight is, though. It's an ASGI framework for an outdated version of Starlight. Okay. Yeah, totally unrelated. What is an ASGI framework, actually? Asynchronous Server Gateway Interface. So I've heard of WSGI. Got it. Okay. So yeah, like solving a different problem than something like Django then, right? I think that makes sense. That makes more sense. Yeah, WSGI, ASGI sounds very like Python specific. Hmm. Yeah, interesting though. All right, so we did just install Astro Docs in there. What we need to do next is we want to create some Vite projects. Is there like a good React hook kind of like starter project? I probably still want to be using. Probably still want to be using Vite. I don't think I actually do. Yeah, no, we're not going to be using Vite for the library. No, so instead, actually, we can do this. We'll go into apps and we'll do that, and it's React TS. All right, so we'll install that. Oh, I didn't want it to start the project. Whoops. And then, yeah, eventually we do like a svelte package and all that stuff, but that's going to be in packages. Right, and scaffolding these is maybe a little premature, right? But we'll at least do React solid view. Should probably do a svelte one. I'm not sure about building libraries for that. At the bare minimum, we want custom hooks. So yeah, let's just at least do that. So what we'll do though is we're going to have a naming convention. So yeah, web LLM wrappers. When we look at PNPM workspace, that's all good. So then here in React, this is going to be at web LLM wrappers / React. And we're going to start at 0.0.1. That's all going to change. Yeah, I wonder if there was like a better scaffolding tool I could have used that'll set me up with like TSUP and maybe not TSX, but at least TSUP. Because this is going to compile as a library. But yeah, so we'll stick with that for now. But yeah, I'm not sure what the right way to bundle any of this with like signals based libraries would be. But for the React, we at least want to have like a hook that we can reuse. It is just React, right? Oh, and React probably should have been a peer dependency. Yep, we'll add TypeScript. And that might be it. All right, so then, yeah, index.ts. We need to install web LLM. And yeah, we got time. All right. So from there, we'll do this. Yeah, I could have sworn that TypeScript was going to be, or that, sorry, not TypeScript, React was going to be shipping its own TS types. And I feel like I even said that at one point. I think it turns out I'm wrong. I think you still have to get your types from here. And that's a little annoying. Funny thing is, I was talking with Corbin Crutchley about that. Crutchcorn is his handle. He thinks he's the person that started that rumor, which is even funnier. And we're going to call this use web LLM. Sure. So here we're using that as a type. So we almost need to go see what is this doing here, right? We see MLC engine config and chat options. Now I think this API we're building is technically wrong. You know what? I'm gonna do this because these are types. MLC engine config. It's another bit. And what's up there, Pilot? How you doing? Yeah, engine config goes there. Or does it? Yeah, I'm doing well. Just chilling. Oh, model ID? Yep, user should be able to pass that in. Ooh, but we're doing string there because that's what that supports. I would love to make that more dynamic. Wait. I make that typo all the time. Holy shit, right? Like anyone else capitalize like the second letter after one? I do that one all the time. That's funny to me. You're doing your military service and it's really difficult. Oh, I'm sorry. Are you still in like basic training or like are you beyond that part? Nah, doesn't happen to me. Exactly, McCory. Yeah, yep. Yeah. That's a silly problem to have. Okay, so hold on. They're saying this comes from... Oh, and hold up. It's this. .app config. Let's go look at this, right? So we see .app config, which we could probably bring in. Model record. Model record. You completed your basic military training, about 7 months left of your service. It's really nice watching my stream at this moment. Yeah, man, I'm happy to have you here. I do kind of gotta get going here soon, though. There's a meetup tonight I'm going to. But I am back from like a week of other stuff. So I will be streaming tomorrow, Saturday, maybe even Sunday. We'll see. Yeah, maybe even Sunday. Oh, I need to overnight some Amazon stuff. Yep. Set to the Minecraft font? Damn right. Yeah, actually, I kind of got to use the restroom, too. So this might be a good moment to stop. So I'm really sorry about that, Pilot. But I'll be back on here tomorrow, depending on time of day for you. Saturday, I can probably do a somewhat longer stream on Saturday, even though we'll probably want to hop into some Pal World. Yeah, man, just a bunch of shit piling up. On Thanksgiving, right? So next Thursday, I can do a nice long stream. I got no plans. I'm not going anywhere. So yeah, it'll be a while before I can do like a super long stream again. But we'll see. We'll make it happen. But yeah, so that's the thing we're going to be doing tomorrow. We're going to be figuring out just like the right types for this. I was hoping we'd be able to have some kind of like model value. That we could like type properly. But it might just have to be a string. So yeah, I need to get going because I got to use the restroom anyway, and I got an event tonight. So who is streaming at the moment? Nice part about ending at this time of day is that we get to raid someone we normally don't raid. Let's see who that is. Looks like, let's go raid Code Drift. Because I think he's doing like a birthday kind of stream thing. Yeah. I'm sorry it was such like a short stream today. We did a bunch of good discovery though. Like just even finding out that web LLM exists, toying with that, figuring out what the process is. I like the path of this. I think the discovery is good. I don't think he's finishing up. It looks like... Did he just get raided? He doesn't normally do that big screen right there. Oh, he has been live for like 3.5 hours. Well, whatever. We're going to go raid Code Drift. He's awesome. Unless he's finishing. Yeah, he's not finishing yet. Cool. So yeah, cool. Code Drift is such an awesome dude. And I think he's got... It's either a birthday or his like affiliate anniversary or something. He's got something like cool happening within the next month or so. Something cool. I forget what it is. I think it's his birthday. I don't remember. We could just roll in there and say happy early birthday. Let me double check it. Hold on. Let me double check it. It's his affiliate anniversary. So happy affiliate anniversary. Let's say that to him when we get in there. Happy early affiliate anniversary. So yeah, we're going to go right into the Code Drift. He is chilling, hanging out, expanding his raid logic, because he does some really cool stuff for raiding, which is pretty awesome. And yeah, he does some really good stuff. So we're going to go say hi to him. Thank you for hanging out. It's good to be back. Sleeping in my own bed again was so nice. And yeah, I don't plan on doing any more traveling for quite a while. For at least a month or two. A month. So let's go right into Code Drift later, everyone. Later, YouTube. And I will see you all tomorrow.